For every sickness Allah has a cure. If the sickness is Dajjal and the world of jinn, that the Dajjal may appear to be human but the reality of his being behind people and not knowing and people not understanding is a jinn, and the reality of what's supporting behind him are shayateen and jinn. Now do people going to see that? Not right away, because people first have to believe. Once they give their belief to him and lose their belief from Allah, at that time anything can be revealed. He doesn't care because they sold their soul for a small price. So if that's the sickness and that's on the earth and that system has been put upon the earth, those regimes have been put upon the earth, it's firmly implanted upon the earth, then its remedy is going to be all that we're teaching. And that's exactly what Muslim community doesn't want to hear. And that's why all awliyaullah have put in last days, it's not necessarily the Muslims who will be saved. They don't want to hear about esoteric knowledge, they don't want to hear about light and energy and all these realities. They just want to talk about salah and Jummah. But the medicine coming is going to require a different state of medicine. So the medicine that's necessary for this event and these events that are coming, somebody who meditates, somebody who knows how, like Surat Al-Kahf. And that was all these discussions. So if you're turning in new then you're asking something like that, but if you've been following since the beginning of this year, it's all been from Surat Al-Kahf, where you have to be from the people of the cave because there's a great deceit coming to change your faith. So you look to yourself and say, am I really a person of the cave and am I training to be a person of the cave? If you're listening to us then non-stop definitely. If you're outside of that cave and not destined for it, you don't know what the heck this shaykh is talking about. I don't know what this is and it's not anything of any interest, I'm not planning on going inside that cave. So they have a different calling, and that's for every disease there's a cure. And unfortunately not many know the disease of the time, but they will begin to know, but that can be a little bit late and a little bit difficult when that type of oppression is overwhelmingly running on the earth. AI and what we talked about, there are androids coming, robots coming, whatever you want to call these figures coming, and they may even start calling things clones. So you pay attention to their movies and the way they're trying to introduce systems by mass media. Movies are marketing tools. So when you want to get people to a place, a destination, you have to create a condition so that they'll open that door. Ya musabbibul asbab, ya mufattiha abwab. Well, shaitan knows that system. He said, I want to get them through the door but I have to create a condition for them to go through that door, right? So the condition was a digital currency controlled by a world government. Now how do you get people to that door? By making them think they have a free computer software currency and everyone is going to do this and we're going to be free, we're going to have money free on the digital currencies, and they allowed all those companies to exist until they bankrupt and collapse them all. And the people will be running disappointed and angered and actually telling the government, why didn't you regulate all of this? Why did you allow us to lose all our money? So you wanted to play with that. Now mufattih abwab, now enter into this door that we're telling you to go to, right? You'll willingly ask for this government currency in which is on a smart contract. Its coming and going will be documented, its taxation will be automated, its purchasing power will be limited based on who you are, your credentials. They can make it work and they can make it not work. They can turn on your system and turn off your system. If you don't know that that's coming, well, because the mass of people don't know. But one whom Allah gives to see from a greater eye of reality. Those whom are on earth they see only the tree stumps, right? Those whom Allah grant a higher horizon they see the entire forest because they're not at the stump but they're at the top looking at the entire forest. They see the fire that's coming and the difficulty and the conditions. Ya musabbib al-asbab mufatih abwab. Shaitan knows that, so let me create a condition and then I'll force them through this door that they'll ask me to go into that door. So all those currencies that are now going bankrupt and collapsing and people using and losing $300 billion, $30 billion, all these big numbers like those movies. $3 billion. Yeah, so then this is the system. If that system is how everything is operating on this dunya. And they took it from Allah's way. So for spiritual people they should be understanding that reality that every condition Allah wants us to make a choice. So we should understand the system through a divine grace and understand how shaitan is pushing people through a door. So it means then we know that these robots are coming and we know that they're going to be planted with artificial intelligence and we know that they have the capability of organic mechanisms more than metal, and metal is like the iron age. Their technology and understanding is in the use of organic matter and computing with organic matter and functioning through organic matter is much more productive than like horse and buggy where we are now on a metal machine limited to joints and limited to different things. Their system in the jinn world is they use organic matter and the programming of organic matter, and then they'll sell people on the concept of consciousness and conveying consciousness. These are merely the memories that are stored within the brain like RAM, but it's not the CPU, it's not the hard drive. They merely can take the RAM, the random access memory chips that a computer has, that's for your screen. That's not the bulk of your data, is never stored on your screen, it's stored on your CPU, your hard drive. Your hard drive is your heart and your soul. Your soul is your zip drive with Allah. It's encrypted with light. They can never access the soul's information. They can only access random access memory. Means what's in your brain, what you ate, what you did, and they'll transfer this and they'll call it a clone and people, oh my God, this is unbelievable, they cloned me. Because they have the ability to make those devices and it'll be from the memories of the brain but never anything with the reality of the soul, the touch, the feel, the essence and the ishq and the connection of the soul, which is an encrypted light that jinn have no access to for this reality. So these things are all coming. AI and the computer AIs are now just showing how much they can gather and how quickly they can gather and on an instant they can gather, where it can produce. Where we said before Web 1 was basically you looked at it, something would come and say, look at this thing on the internet, you looked at it. Web 2 is that you interacted with it. Web 3 is that it will produce, read and write with it. So the fact that you don't have to search on Google, this version coming out now will write your document, write your legal papers, write everything, draw whatever you want, produce the code that you need, perfect the code that you want. And that's their introduction to the jinn world and the enslavement of mankind into a jinn world.